YouTube, how's it going? Today we're going to be heading into another 7-round mock draft today, going into a team that does not own a first-round pick, and that is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Now, before we get into this, I just want to wish everybody out there a happy Easter Sunday. Let me know what you guys have on your dinner plate today in the comment section below. I know I'm going to be at work, so won't be able to have a nice Easter dinner, but I will still be spending it with my family, so I'm recording this the night before. But yeah, Indianapolis Colts, definitely going to be a fun one here, and we'll not waste any more of your time. Let's get right into this. Christian Watson is going to be the first selection here for Indianapolis, wide receiver out of North Dakota State. Now, what I love most about Christian Watson is basically if you ever grew up playing Madden and did the old superstar modes, this is a guy you would have created if you wanted to be a wide receiver. He's tall, he's fast, he's strong, he creates separation, he's able to win contested catches, he's able to do it all. But he's still a little raw. He has all the physical tools, every ability that you'd want in a receiver. He has every single one of them. He just needs to clean it up and become, his potential. But he's got one of the highest ceilings out of all the receivers in this draft class. And if he falls out of round one, there might be a team that decides they want to make sure that he refines his skills on their team in round one. This would be a perfect 1B to Pittman, having 1A, 1B with Pittman and Watson as your 1-2 punch. Matt Ryan needs weapons. Getting him one here in Christian Watson. Love this pick here out of North Dakota State. Here at pick 72, Matt Ryan also needs protection as much as he needs weapons, and that is going to be Abraham Lucas, offensive tackle out of Washington State. Next Gen graded him as a 75 overall. He can slot into left tackle day one and fill a gaping hole. And you got to protect your investment in Matty Ice. They traded for him. They are hoping that Matty Ice is going to be somebody that, is there for a while because they traded for him. But he's old, truthfully. So you want to be able to have this offensive line protect him as much as you can, because the last thing you want is for him to retire after one season, similar to what Phillip Rivers did, and it leave you pretty much helpless at that quarterback position and make you adjust once more. It's been a hole for a while. You got to make sure that you can keep it with Matt Ryan. But that's not all that needs to be said about the quarterback position. We're going to be getting a trade announced here. The Colts are going to be trading up to pick 101, and the Eagles are going to move down to pick 122 and also receive 216 in the trade as well. Good deal for both teams. Moving up for a player we'll talk about in a second. Eagles move down, 21 picks, but also gain a late pick as well. So not bad for both teams. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just want to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy really quick. The NFL season's over, but you can still draft a new fantasy team on Underdog Fantasy and win cash prizes. They have a slick mobile app and a user-friendly site. You can also join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are helping you guys out that are watching the video by matching up to $100 on your first deposit for new users when you use code SORMANI, SORMANI. So just go to UnderdogFantasy.com or go download the App Store or the Google Play Store. Sign up with the code SORMANI, that's SORMANI, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit all the way up into $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SORMANI, SORMANI. Now let's get back to this video. Now we are here, and it is going to be Carson Strong at 101 for the Indianapolis Colts, a guy who has fallen down boards a lot this offseason. Has a next-gen grade of 75. Since Andrew Luck retired, it's been a quarterback carousel. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, everybody in between. You look at it now, Matt Ryan, could he play 4 more years in the NFL? Yes. Could this be his last year in the NFL? Also, yes. It's very much up in the air. You hope for the best and you hope for a longer-term answer with Matt Ryan and hope for that he can do a lot. But you want to protect your future as well as your present. And you spent some draft capital on a receiver and an offensive lineman to help protect your current quarterback and help the current situation. Now at 101, you move up. You trade your picks. One early 100 pick and an early 200 pick, and you move up and you get your successor. This is a guy who was talked about as a top 10 player in the draft way early on in the draft process, and since then has fallen and fallen and fallen. But you get him to learn behind Matt Ryan. He's going to be a stronger backup than Ellinger, no pun intended. And you're not investing too much draft capital if he doesn't pan out and become this successor or this next quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. But if he does work out and if he does become that successor, you're going to be looking back at this as an absolute steal of a pick. Indianapolis Colts with Carson Strong at 101. Here at pick 159, we're going to have the Colts select Josh Jobe, the cornerback out of Alabama with a next-gen grade of 71. He's a boundary man corner. He's played for Bama for years. He was the #1 overall recruit out of Connecticut coming out of high school. You're adding young talent into a corner room that's definitely older, especially adding Stephon Gilmore. And you're learning from, one of the best coverage corners of our, this decade in Stephon Gilmore. So getting a young guy like Jobe who plays very similar to what Gilmore can do, it's too good to pass up for him to learn and develop and play right away at the same time. All those things are going to help out Indy for the now and for the future. I think they would love a guy like Josh Jobe. Now at pick 179, we have the Colts selecting Matt Aureza out of San Diego State. Just an absolute weapon of a special teamer here. Have him as a punter. He's kicked as well. Rigoberto has been good, but he hasn't been one of the better punters in the NFL. Aureza can be the best punter in the NFL year one. That's how good of a leg this kid has. Contending teams always have one thing in common. Their special teams is always superb. They're able to pin players deep. They're able to get the kickoff team is able to cover well. Punt team is able to cover well. Also, their return game is going to be very strong. You look at a team like Indy, you have a solid kicker in Rodrigo. You have a good return game, Nyheim Hines and company. Your coverage team has been good. Why not get a guy who can consistently pin deep in the other side of the field for other opposing teams and opposing offenses? You don't have that many holes on this roster, especially after the Ngakoue trade. Kwity Paye is there as well. So defense is looking really solid. You might as well get someone who's going to make life easier for that defense. This is a guy who's going to pin them deep, force offenses to adjust, and get your own offense right back on the field because 3 and outs are going to be able to be possible. I think this is an awesome pick for the Colts, seeing him go off the board at 179. Last but not least, at pick 240, we're going to be selecting Mike Harley, receiver out of Miami. Didn't have a next-gen grade. He wasn't at the combine, but he's a small slot receiver from Miami. He came from the famed St. Thomas Aquinas High School. He's best in the short game. He's very good with slants and zig routes, bubble screens, those type of plays. He has the speed to outrun any defender, but he doesn't have the ability to break them down. So he's not going to be able to beat them off of press. He's not going to be able to route run past them. And also he's not going to be juking past players and doing all these fancy run after catch moves. He's pretty much got his speed, and that's his weapon. So definitely somebody who could fit in and be one of those depth pieces. But also this is a good return man. This is a good special team gunner. A lot of different things you could do with a guy like Mike Harley. Undersized, definitely at 5'9", but you could do a lot with a guy like Mike Harley late in the draft. And that's going to be it for the Indianapolis Colts mock draft. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? What can the Colts do not having a first-round pick is basically the biggest question there is. Can they help their team out right away? Christian Watson fell to us in this mock draft. You got an offensive lineman, a quarterback for the future, and then many more other pieces as well. So let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Again, if you did enjoy, please be sure to leave it that like. If you didn't, just refresh the page. Let me know what you think about it the second time. Once again, happy Easter to all you and your family. I hope you guys staying safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
How you talking 50K, how you talking making plays or just talking, yeah. I do this shit here on my own time. Time is money, so I did it on my own dime. Word to Bookie, yeah, this homage gave me game. Yeah, he taught me family ties, quick to back there off me. Nah, I can't wait for you.